Hi, everyone. Lily Kazemi with Dow Fit Life, and I'm so excited to introduce the first Dow Fit Life podcast. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Alyssa, who is a fitness director on a very famous cruise line, and she's going to be talking about her experience in that role, as well as divulging some fitness secrets from someone who has been in the industry for a long time. We have a great conversation on the ship as it's taking off from port, so stay tuned. And here is the first podcast for Dow Fit Life. So how did you get from like fitness on land to fitness at sea? Like what is the general, allure of being like a fitness director on a cruise ship?
Sure. So, great question. I started on ships because of my combined background in the arts and hospitality. So I worked on a division of the ship that dealt with art, and then realized that no, I wanted to bring my wellness side onto the ship. And so I had to research how that all worked. It was not as linear as I thought it would be. But once I did the research, then it was just a couple of extra steps and certifications. So I went from just having a couple of group fitness certifications to needing my personal training certification. Once I got that, then I had to go to a training in London with an academy called the London Wellness Academy. And the London Wellness Academy certifies you to be able to do what I'm doing on board. London Wellness Academy is the certifying body that gives you the credential to work on board any of the major cruise lines. And then we then work for another company that actually staffs us. So that whole process from like getting this personal training certification to doing these few trainings to waiting to get my assignments was about a year.
So at the London Wellness Academy too?
Yes.
How long was that program? Just that program?
Just 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but intense, like what, like not the whole curriculum, but describe like what did they focus on, or what was their goal to make you learn and be competent at in those 3 weeks?
To teach the specific formats that we teach on board, and to be able to present different presentations that we offer here, which this week they were not highly attended, but to be able to give these presentations on posture, on metabolism, and also a couple of different like sales kind of angles and product knowledge for a couple of like detox products that we have and arch supports that we offer to help better people's posture, which was part of this posture seminar that it's on the schedule. But so like to be confident with all of those presentations and all of that knowledge.
Let me just ask you some metabolism questions, okay? Like, and if it's something that there's like no real good answer, just let me know. But the first thing that people ask is, do some people just have faster metabolisms and can just eat whatever they want and they're lucky and it's a gift? And some people are just born with like slow metabolisms and have to kind of fight that their whole life. Like, what's your view on that?
So I'll take it back to the basics, which is like your metabolism and your ability to like lose or gain weight, and just like your overall like ability to detox and be as healthy as you can starts with your liver and the health of your liver. And that's what we believe in, like with the method that we teach here, is that without detoxing your liver, then you're essentially not going to see the results that you wish to see. And so we talk about a trilogy of success, and I'll get to how the liver weaves into all of this. So we talk about a trilogy of success. So if someone comes into the gym, right, they probably have in mind, okay, I either want to maintain my weight or I want to lose weight. So if you think about that in terms of like a pyramid, right? exercise is just one of three things in our triangle, right? We're gonna have, a triangle, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the top of the pyramid is going to be exercise. In the middle of the triangle, we're going to put nutrition, and at the bottom, the base, the biggest part, we're going to put detox.
Okay.
So you come into the gym and you've got your exercise, you've tackled that bit. Then you go and you eat and you have your healthy Starbucks drinks and you have your good salads and your nutrition is good intact, but you're still seeing that there's no weight loss, no inch loss, and there's like some maybe stubborn fat that's just not moving. Well, have you tried detoxing? Have you addressed your liver? Have you done a deeper dive into why are certain areas of my body not kind of adapting to how I want them to be? And so if our liver isn't properly cleansed, then this is one of the main reasons why, like, you're not going to get the results that you want, even if you're doing the exercise bit and the nutrition bit.
What is threatening the cleanliness of our liver? I mean, obvious is like alcohol. Like, okay, I don't drink. So like, let's like even just take it from that perspective. Like, is this like a daily thing for our liver that we need to detox it? And like, what is toxifying it?
Sure.
Basically?
I mean, in addition to just like certain foods and chemicals that are in what we potentially consume on a daily basis, which we have control over, there's other things like pollution in the air or the pH of the water that we're drinking that can also affect our liver. And also involved in all of that process is like cleansing our lymphatic system too. So many things go hand in hand, but predominantly our food and chemicals in our food can, if you're not drinking alcohol, like those are other major sources of what can be like toxifying our liver.
Okay, so the chemicals, because, realistically, as much as I would love to live daily farm to table and eat organic food all the time, especially someone who has like a job, this is the audience of my website and blog and things, like a lot of times you don't have control over, I mean, even on a cruise ship, like you don't have complete control over what food you're exposed to. So invariably you probably are ingesting like, more chemicals. But what is your approach, like yourself, to your own nutrition and I guess trying to eat? Like, what do you consider a clean diet? Is that something that you aim to do? Like, what is your thought on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to eat as clean as possible, but not being super extreme. I certainly am conscious of every meal that I eat, every kind of plate that I prepare. Yes, of course, now and then I'll have like a craving for something just because I'm like, ooh, I want like something that just tastes really, really good. But I've learned over the years, like I've studied a lot on my own, not like a formal nutrition training. Was a few like little small bits, but not a full-fledged nutrition training. But I've studied enough on my own to know what is good and what is not good, and what nutrients I need to eat as clean as possible. And I think just not going to the grocery store and purchasing things that have labels that are a mile long. I mean, as fresh as possible. I feel fortunate to have lived in like places where there's access to really nice, fresh, whole fruits and vegetables, like in South Florida, in a certain part of Mexico, and even here in Hawaii. Like you just kind of have to put your blinders on in the grocery store and say, okay, if I want to live a great, long, healthy life, and what can I control, then it's just about educating and like making clear-minded decisions. And I think one of the underlying reasons why I got into this, into wellness, I think from a young age, was not only because of my fitness, like my dance background, but the women in my family on my father's side had breast cancer. And even as like a 6, 7, 8-year-old, I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I never want that to happen to me. I don't want to be like my grandma or my aunt and have like this illness. Like, I want to be the example for the women in my family that I can just kind of set the stage for, I don't know, health and longevity. So that's kind of that on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah, that seems like a really balanced approach. And we started talking about metabolism, and then we veered off into the trilogy, the liver, and the detoxing.
Yes.
So what is the key? Because I mean, again, like striving for perfection is always good, but my assumption is that even someone like you is going to land at a point where still some detoxification is needed. Yeah. So what is the strategy to approach detox? Because it means a lot of things to different people. Let's let him do his little announcement. I like that we did the interview right when the ship was taking off. Yeah. I won't keep you much longer too, but I'll ask you
okay. It's nice to talk about this. You're good. Do you do a lot of interviews?
Yeah, actually, I don't do too many like this. Like but part of my day job is I basically, one of my clients was a major cruise ship, private equity firm, and my main job is like tax consulting. Okay. So basically, in order to properly evaluate like the tax profile of a company, you have to understand the different functions of the different related parties and subsidiaries and things. So basically, I would interview employees, executives on exactly what their role is, and that helps collectively decipher the value chain of the company and where like the main IP, or risk functions are.
Amazing.
So it's
you're used to like asking me really pointed questions to like get information.
I don't know if that came through, but yeah.
I mean, being involved in this world for 20 plus years and having lived and traveled to a lot of different places, I'm like, I think I could put something really cool together.
Yeah, I mean, because you've seen because the profile of people that you get is so eclectic, like internationally, and you see I don't know how many how many different groups come through like every week. Like it's a new group every week, right? Yes. New group because you have a 9-month contract, right? So basically you see 9 times 4, like 36 different passenger groups, I guess.
Exactly, times 2,000 passengers.
Yeah.
Right, and that this is actually very, very modest. Because if you think about it, prior to being here, I was on a Royal Caribbean vessel in the Caribbean.
Oh wow!
Which was it alternates on a weekly basis: a 4-day cruise and a 3-day cruise, a 4-day cruise and a 3-day cruise. And every cruise had 6,000 guests.
6,000 guests.
12,000
wow.
guests in the span of 1 week's time.
Wow.
There was a lot more traffic in the gym, but also the demographic is different. If you think about the Port of Miami, 12,000 passengers or 6,000 passengers coming from the Port of Miami for like a weekend cruise, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's different than the demographic that flies all the way from Australia or DC to come here for a full week.
Yeah.
Right? It's so interesting to like study the demographic and like the difference of like what are your intentions for being here versus like a quick weekend cruise. If you live in South Beach and you pull to the port and you're like, hey, let's just have like a party cruise. You are there to party. Yeah. I've been in Miami a few times like for the weekend, and that's all what it's about. It's like de-stress. Definitely, one of the instructors I took a lot of classes with, I don't know if you've heard of Soul Cycle. It's anyway, so she would always say, let's detox to retox, because it's like, but back to the detox. Okay, so like
what I was saying before was like most people when they think detox, they just like think of like celery juice or like a colonic or something. Like what does detox mean to you and how do you effectively do it?
Sure, great questions. So interesting, like I think what you just explained would be like the celery juice part would be like the nutrition aspect, but detoxing on like, I believe the proper way comes down to like a deeper cellular level. It's like kind of what's below the surface, right? So working on the lymphatic system would be one thing, but colonic would be another aspect that's like that deeper level. But first, number one would be kickstarting your digestive system. So on board the ship, we have a 3-week digestive reset, which consists of like 3 different capsules and then 1 senna tea in the evening to like stimulate healthy yet gentle bowel movements.
Yeah.
And then after that 3-week digestive reset to kind of like scrub off the surface layer of anything that's like inhibiting your digestive system, then we have an actual like cleanse program. And that cleanse program and that protocol also consists of several different capsules that you'll take for, depending upon certain criteria, you'll cleanse for 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. Different herbs, like different herbs that you will ingest and help to, again, cleanse the liver. So things like dandelion, nettle, fennel,
milk thistle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me personally, as well as what I do here, detox means like going into a deeper cellular level, a digestive system level, the lymphatic system, that's again above and beyond just what you're ingesting like nutritionally, or celery juice or kale salads, for example. Like just going that next step to like scrub off the surface and get a super clean, clear, blank slate. We also have, and again, this would be something that I would do personally too, as well as recommend professionally to guests here. We have not only that internal like detox approach, but we also have an external approach, which would be a combination of like dry skin brushing, which I'm sure you
I do that. Yes, I do. I learned that from Gwyneth Paltrow and the Goop website. And she sells a brush. Yeah. And it's like you brush down, you brush up, but get off the dead skin cells, because like you can't see them, but they're there.
Right. Get off the dead skin cells. Kickstart the lymphatic system, which is a super slow moving system. It's our body's waste removal system, which can be, if your lymphatic system is overstressed, it's super obvious in like the puffiness of your face or different areas of your body, like inner thighs or armpits, things like that. But in addition to the dry brushing, the protocol for our external cleanse also has this like a bath salt. So it's like a packet of detox bath salts, and you do that like 3 times a week for whatever span of time is recommended, again based on certain factors that we analyze through like a body composition test.
Well, on the exercise pillar, what would you say is a way to, I mean, maybe you work with personal training clients too, like how do you set their goals in terms of the exercise? Because there's obviously there's cardio, there's strength training, and I guess I call it precision training, the group of like kind of the yoga, the Pilates, bar also. And a lot of people tend to kind of just do one, honestly. Like when I go to the gym at home, it's like the same people will go, exclusively on the treadmill, do nothing else. Or I like to take bar classes, but I know people who will only do that or only do like Pilates reformer. But I think that is like something that people struggle with, is like, what is the ideal combination of like these different types? Like, what is your approach and what would you recommend for people? And then does it depend on their goals also?
Absolutely. I think it most definitely depends on the individual's goals, and that no formula is going to be the right formula for everyone. Like there's no kind of, what would you say, kind of like prescription, like a prescription that I give to you, an exercise plan would be different from the gentleman walking down this way right now because of your goals, your age, your weight, your level of toxicity in your body, and so on and so forth, as well as what makes you feel good, right? Like you also want to enjoy what you're doing. So I do believe, though, regardless of like the extent of your goal or extent of your desire of what you wish to like achieve, I think it is an ideal kind of blend of those three aspects or those three elements that you mentioned: cardio, strength training, and these other kind of more mobility, flexibility, and precision-based movements. So I personally incorporate all of those things within the span of a week without a doubt, because also I think just I like variety, and I think we all like variety. It would be like if you're eating the same exact 3 meals every single day for the span of, couple months time. You just kind of like want to mix it up, and there's limitless possibilities nowadays. So I think, yeah, absolutely, like it would be without a doubt those 3 aspects for everyone, but tweaking it to their personal preferences as well. And also even in like the strength training area, like you can do free weights, you can do body weight movements, you can do circuit training with the actual machines. So there's just so many options nowadays. And then just, I think now more than ever too, like to have the options of like different fitness apps and different content on YouTube so that you can do this on the go no matter where you are, day or night. It's now more than ever, I think the possibility to achieve your goals is there because the content's there. You just have to have the desire to make it happen.
Yeah, and the content can be overwhelming. And that's one reason that I got into what I did, because I feel like it's kind of like a filter. I take in, it's like a knowledge management. Like I take in all the content and I pick what, appeals to me the best. And it may not appeal to everyone, but, just things like if there's a 10-minute ab workout, you can do that's on YouTube or on an app that you can also do in a hotel room, for example, even if you don't have time to go to the hotel gym, or maybe you forgot, your exercise shoes. Like there's always a way, from my perspective, to fit something in to just like keep that routine going. Because obviously when people get on a cruise ship, the number one thing that kind of makes, it's fun when you're there, but when you go back home, I think a lot of people feel like, oh no, I ate too much, I drank too much, and that's because, but a big factor is whether you're on a cruise or like in a vacation of some kind, you're not on your routine. And so like people get thrown off. So what would your suggestion be? This is like, I'll kind of close with this question. What would your suggestion be, like after, any type of vacation, and like you kind of, maybe you've made some poor decisions, or you just, you get home after the long flight, you don't feel great, but you're like, I want to get back on track. Like, what is like the best way to do that?
Sure. Well, I think it depends on the person and what they already had been accustomed to doing before getting on the cruise. But ideally would be to get straight to the gym the next day, or go straight to
the same day. When I get off the plane an hour later.
I can imagine that. I'm sure I'm the same. So go straight to the gym, or if you don't go, let's just say the gym for lack of a better word, to keep it concise, go straight to the gym. If you're not working with a trainer and you really want to achieve some good goals, start working with a trainer. Have someone hold you accountable. But if you already have the knowledge base of how to like kind of craft your own little routine, get that on paper, write it down, plot it out, so that your first kind of couple of weeks back home, you've got it laid out for you. What I've always done after travels, because I think that not only do flights and different foods kind of throw our system kind of awry. Again, I'm biased, but like the Bikram yoga method for me has been like the reset button. Why? Because I get to a class, it's 90 minutes, it's just me and my mat. There's breath work at the beginning, there's breath work at the end, there's standing postures, there's seated postures, there's postures that work on balance. You target every major joint, muscle, ligament, and tendon in your body, and you are in a heated room with also a good amount of humidity, so you're sweating, so you're detoxing. And like that for me has been like what I've done over the years, from airport to studio or airport home to studio. And after that class, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to go again.
Yeah.
It's kind of like taking my body to the car wash.
Or even if you're not a Bikram yoga enthusiast, like the gym where I go, it has a sauna.
Yep.
Just like sitting there, and I can always feel that like coming out of my pores.
Yeah.
Like that's why I try to get straight there, because it's like, even like, you know, the first thing most people want to do after they got off the plane is shower.
Yes.
But it's like, okay, before that though, I would like to like sweat something out. And I think the other great detoxing thing about yoga, like I know for a fact that the twisting in yoga is great for like detoxing like the kidneys, and a lot of the postures actually stimulate, you know, those organs. So I always feel that yoga has a lot of other benefits other than, I mean, it has great mental health benefits, and that's really good too. And I think it's like, that's another part that people overlook. It's like the meditation, and it's not just all about going hard, but it also has like really great benefits like internally for your body, besides also being in and of itself a great strength training workout, especially like a power yoga class, or some yoga classes also incorporate like elements of strength training, like light weights and things like that. So there's always something, you know, to me, there's always some form of yoga that would appeal to the type of person. Like, you know, if you're more like chill, like hatha yoga, but if you're very active, like power or vinyasa, like constant flow yoga. So
Totally. No, you're absolutely onto the right track with that. Like, I think that why I'm drawn to take a yoga class as a perfect reset is because if I've been around a lot of people, I'm in my own space. I can focus on one point. I don't have to worry about anything else. I know that I'm getting my digestive system revved up through the postures that stimulate that, and also then just physically, like there's strength and flexibility externally. So like the external, the internal, the mind, like all of it. It's just, it feels like a little taste of like heaven for a moment.
Yeah.
And as well, yeah, to your point, like nowadays there are so many different formats that again cater to different personalities, whether it's something vigorous or kind of even bringing it to the total opposite end of the spectrum with like a yin class. So
yeah. Okay. And this is my last question. Okay. What is just one, because you mentioned before, you see a very large, thousands of people at a time, multiple times. So I'm sure you talk to a lot of people. What is like one of the biggest like myths, like you've kind of heard, you know, someone express that they believe, or it doesn't even have to be from who you encounter, but just as like someone in the fitness world, I know that like the trainers that I know, they just, you know, they just say, no, this is a myth about like this, and let me set it straight. So what's an example of that for you?
Sure. I think because we're on the ship, the easiest or the most prevalent one that comes to mind is that like people are going to inevitably gain weight on a cruise. And I think that is absolutely false. I think that it is a beautiful opportunity to shift that 180 degrees and say, I'm going to come on vacation and I want to make this a wellness experience. I want to disconnect from my day-to-day. I want to go to this island and walk around and get in X number of thousands of steps. I want to walk off this ship feeling better and feeling lighter, whether you actually lose weight or not, than I did when I came on here. I mean, you are in literally this contained vessel. You are in this little incubator, and you can make it whatever you want to be for you. So it's just about being intentional and making conscious decisions for what you want this experience to be. So again, I think that that's like, to button it up, like that's definitely a myth. You don't necessarily have to come onto a cruise ship and gain weight. Although many people walk into this space and my desk up front and ask me for the scale because they just want to see how much weight they've gained so far, although they're not even using the gym for the purpose of using the gym.
Yeah, that's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, like an attitude of defeat. But I really like what you said, and I think you can export that advice to a cruise ship or a vacation in Europe or going on a 1 week, conference or anything like that. Okay, so we just got interrupted because someone came to weigh their luggage on the scale that Alyssa was just talking about. But just to wrap it up, Alyssa, thank you so much for your time and for being on the Tao Fit Life very first podcast episode.
Oh my gosh, Lily, it's truly a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be a part of it, and I wish you all the best success with this amazing project, and I hope to see you again on board in the future.
You as well. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you liked the content here on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button. You can join me on my website, daofitlife.com or daofit.life, where I also have a special AI feature, and you can ask any question and get any answer with all the content I've had in the past 5 years on my site. If you like to read and you just want all of my content in one place, consider buying my book, Business Class Fitness, which is available on Amazon and also through my website. Thanks, and see you next time. And in the meantime, stay fit, healthy, and fabulous.